Do you see this lesion, Liz?
Excuse me?
This lesion. I got all these lesions on me right now. It's
Oh
disgusting.
my god, I don't see anything, and I'm closing my eyes so that I can't see anything in case you accidentally show me a lesion.
Oh, I mean, I ooze regularly, but
I'd be oozing.
I mean, right now it looks like I just got out of a damn Orange Theory class because my shirt is sticking to my
Why
front.
are you name checking Orange Theory? The fitness boutique fitness class of 8 years ago?
You use TrueAnon promo code TrueAnon Fit.
Oh
and you can get but no, the front of my shirt is just
Theory.
sticking to me now because of this shit.
Yeah, because you're oozing.
Yeah, I had an MMF threesome, a monkey, me, and female.
Oh my god. It should have been monkey, me, and a female.
That's what I said.
Oh,
that's the exact.
I thought you said monkey man.
No.
And then I got distracted thinking about a monkey man.
Sorry, no. You think I would tell you? I'm not. I want to make it clear. There was no dude. I mean, the monkey was a male monkey, but it's not like a guy.
Monkey man.
Yeah.
I think that's a real thing, a monkey man.
Yeah. What do you think? That's what people are. And like a half kind of thing. I mean, who knows? The union of me and these two freaks that I got down with. Who knows what that's going to produce?
I texted you this earlier, but I want to say I think it's so funny that they tried to make monkeypox like COVID 2.0.
Yeah, no one's buying.
And then they were like, "Oh, my bad, it's STD. Oops."
Yeah. I'm not buying monkeypox too. I'm not.
Why they got to call it that?
Yeah, even if it's real and going around.
That's a bad name.
Guess what? Just wear a condom? I don't know. I looked at pictures of it. Looks gross. Just don't get it.
Why did you look at pictures of it?
Because I want to see what was going on.
Oh my God. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I'm Liz.
My name is Brace. I might have dengue fever, and our producer is Young Chomsky.
Hey, dengue. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
This is TrueAnon. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back.
We are back.
We are back. We took a little bit of a little break. Little vacay, which we'll talk about a little bit.
Yeah, we'll elaborate on that. I don't know if vacay is the word, but yeah, we'll talk about it.
Maybe we will. Maybe we won't.
Yeah. I know. We're investigating the beaches of Cabo San Lucas. We are back, and we are. You did an episode while I was indisposed with Noah about Elon Musk.
Yeah, Noah Colwyn from Blowback Podcast. I'm
going to be real with you. I didn't listen to it.
I know you didn't.
I was on part of it. Didn't listen to the other parts.
I know you didn't. Uh-huh. And usually I would say that hurts my feelings.
Wow.
But it doesn't actually, and I'm okay with it.
Okay, good. So the other times when you say stuff like that, you're lying. Which is something
No, it's called growth, Brace. No, you're right. We did talk about Elon.
Mm-hmm.
And as the preeminent number one, numero uno, A+ tier 1, what was it? S tier? Yes. Okay. Top tier haters of Elon number one podcast that is TrueAnon, right? We got to talk about Elon because he's back in the news.
He is. He seems to be more annoying now.
Yeah, more than ever.
Yeah, this is the thing I don't like about Elon Musk news cycles. I don't care what he does necessarily, or like his business ventures or his political positions or the things that he gets Me Too'd with. It's more, I just don't like it when he is available to people to consume. It makes me, there's something about the man that gives me, it's like I don't know what it is, but it's like looking at something with a disease. You're like, whoa, put that in a cage.
He needs to be put away.
Yeah.
Like 6 feet under.
Man. Yeah, absolutely, Liz. I agree with you. I think someone should. So why are we talking about him today?
Okay, so a couple things. Well, a lot of things. First, let's start with the big story. So Elon has been basically all over Twitter. Right? Because he is always usually all over Twitter, but he's in the process of attempting to buy Twitter. We're going to talk about that in a second. While we were gone, away, Elon was on a little tweet rampage and basically was attempting to get ahead of what seemed to be a breaking news story that had yet to be broken. And in like super sly classic Elon style, he tweeted, "Political attacks on me will escalate dramatically in coming months." He started blaming a bunch of stuff on our good friends, the Brandon's party, the Demon Rats. And he's saying, in the past, I voted Democrat because they were mostly the kindness party, but they have become the party of division and hate. So I can no longer support them and will vote Republican. Now watch their dirty tricks campaign against me unfold. ... Popcorn emoji.
So this is another expert move by one of the grand strategist Sun Tzu's of our time. And I'm kind of joking here, but I think it actually was a pretty good move because it's very clear to anybody who knows how lying and trying to get out of things work that this is one of the perfect things that you could put out there. One of the greatest statements a human being could make. And
wait, Bruce, you are a really good liar.
Yes, and I switch political parties constantly in order to evade accusations against me. It's worked. I mean, I've granted I've had to cycle down. I'm kind of running on fumes here.
Yeah.
I've been with LaRouche for like the past 6 months until another thing happens.
You got to go back to Avakian.
Exactly. Well, I unfortunately ran through that one as well when I was caught killing like bees, which I thought we were supposed to do, but now it's like people get mad if you burn down beehives. So whatever. But Elon's thing here was like, you could tell that something bad was about to happen to him. And he starts, I think, I can't remember if it was like right before the article comes out or right after, but he starts commenting on this, like all this Russiagate stuff.
Oh God.
He's like talking about how the Democrats are liars. And I think what his strategy here, and of course we haven't actually gotten to the allegations yet, but I think his strategy here is to frame the upcoming allegations, upcoming at the time, of course, now they're come, and I'm sure there are more to come, as sort of like revenge by the Democratic Party against him.
I love this.
It's really good. I mean, he's brought Hillary into it a couple of times. Sussman, he is. Yeah,
he's gone full like post left.
Yeah. It's pretty spectacular.
He's just accusing everyone. He's like, oh, they used to be great, but now I don't know. It's so funny. We should say that then, after he tweeted this hours later, the peace drops from Business Insider, our favorite both business paper and insider paper, huge bomb, allegations that Elon exposed himself on a private SpaceX jet flight to a flight attendant who he had asked for a full body massage.
And full body, to be clear here, the implication is also the body and head of his penis. So, what seems to be the gist of the story here is the woman's friend, which I got to say, friendship's got to be on the rocks after this.
Oof.
The woman's friend says that her friend, who was the flight attendant here, was asked to take massage classes by her superior at SpaceX.
Okay. Can I pause for a second?
Absolutely.
I think that it's grand that we have a podcast where it started that, we're covering this like horrible case with Epstein. A man I want to note also had a predilection for massages.
He loved them.
And then, some time goes by, whatever. We talk about a lot of things. COVID happens, blah, blah, blah. We're all over the place. We're talking things. We do this big thing on Elon Musk, whatever. We didn't know any of this information when we did that.
No, I didn't know.
And now you're fucking telling me that we're dealing with another guy who has a thing about massages?
Yeah. It's another guy who not only has these private jets, but is trying to get a jack off in the air on these private jets. Elon, I mean, that's what he's trying. I mean, maybe he's trying to get full pen or whatever, but he's definitely at least trying to get a jack off here. He offers this girl, she kind of like, she sidles up to him and, or not, excuse me, I want to be clear. There's no indication that she sidled up to him.
Yeah, I don't think any of that.
That was total editorial there.
Yeah, hey, the liar in action right
here. Exactly. I'm lying right now. This is not lying. According to her friend, she's going to give Elon a massage. She's lying down naked, which, by the way, when Bracy gets a massage, I'm wearing my underwear.
Yeah, you should Yeah.
Yeah.
You should do that. Your thong. You wear a thong.
Yeah. And I'm wearing shoes and socks, but nothing else. Full nude except for underwear and usually hiking boots. So, she goes up to him. He's wearing the towel and he like touches her leg and is like, if you
come on, do the South African accent.
If you touch my penis, I will give you an Arabian stallion. Yeah.
What?
That's Biko. I'm doing Steve Biko there.
Oh my god.
So he basically tries to exchange a horse because he knows that she's into horses.
Okay, wait, to be clear, what he says is, if you do this, I'll buy you a horse.
Yes.
Not that there was a horse on the plane or something.
No horse on the plane. No. Yeah, that's no. Mr. Handsy, not Mr. Hands. So she refuses and she is cut from the schedule or had her shifts sort of taken down. And then I guess eventually complains and gets a little severance pay.
Yeah, $250K in severance. Her friend kind of suggests, because I don't think that Business Insider had any access to anything outside of the friend's story, that it was all in exchange for her silence.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty big story. We were both in different parts of the world when it broke. And I have to say, it was like all on the radio and TV where I was, which was pretty shocking. It's pretty interesting kind of in the lead up to this story. There was a tweet from a friend of the show, Unusual Whales, which is kind of like a little like stock ticker kind of account. And he tweeted out that there was this large put position taken out on Tesla expiring on the 20th, which the story dropped on the 19th, basically betting about 4 million that the stock would fall around 10%. So a lot of money right when this article hit started flowing into like bearish signals with Tesla, and Tesla's stock started to fall. I mean, it had been falling kind of in addition, like sort of as a part of all the tech stocks that have been kind of falling in the sell-off over the past couple weeks. But someone made off pretty good with that Tesla position.
I mean, what if it was the friend?
Well, someone always knows. Yeah, or someone a bit biz insider.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're called that, right?
Business Insider Trading.
Yeah, it's
that's
right in the name. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing about this is, it is pretty unusual, I feel like, for a story, especially of this nature. Business Insider is not like a 2-bit rag or whatever, They seem pretty competent. The guy who wrote this story seems like a veteran news hound. So I'm guessing, and of course, Elon Musk being very litigious, I'm guessing that they had some stuff to back this up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say it's pretty unusual for a friend of a victim without the victim to come forward like this. Yeah. And I guarantee, I'm sure it's just the best that they could do. Obviously there were NDAs signed here. I don't know what the law is. In fact, I kind of do know what the law is around NDAs, is that if you've been sexually harassed, I think you actually
can break it. I think.
Break NDAs. Yeah. Whether that, that's what the law says, whether people actually do that and risk the consequences.
Right. It's like the law can say one thing, but it's another if you're actually going to go ahead and have the money to prove it in court, right?
Exactly. Because, you break your NDA, but then someone sues you and it costs you like millions of dollars to fucking defend yourself.
Yeah. Much more than a $250K payout.
I got to say, Elon has seemed pretty plussed or unfazed about this, at least publicly. Because he's been making kind of a lot of like Twitter jokes about horses and, even
that's
kind of
just his fucking annoying way.
Yeah.
He digs in.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I think he did have a freak out because remember he started tweeting about wanting lawyers, wanting all this stuff. He's going to like go crazy litigious. We should mention, I want to say like Tesla, I tweeted something about this. You always know I really, fucking Elon gets under my skin so much. He like forces me to tweet again. And, Tesla like hasn't had general counsel, I think since 2019, like a real general counsel in the books, and then they have cycled through a shit ton of lawyers. No one wants to work there. Can't imagine why.
Yeah.
And now he's saying, oh, I'm going to I need teams of lawyers DM me your CVs or whatever he's saying. He's like a total psycho. I mean, the man's a moron.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. If he does hire a lawyer who DM'd him their CV, isn't that can't you get someone out of being CEO if they're a little loosey-goosey upstairs? A little light in the old brain loafer?
He might be losing it a little bit too, because Tesla itself is losing a lot of money. And I mentioned that the tech sell-off was hurting everything because Tesla's losing a little money, tech is losing money, and that means that his Twitter deal is not looking so good right now.
Mhm.
We should backtrack on this timeline for a second so I can explain. And also, Brace, because you weren't here for that episode and you didn't listen to it, so you don't even fucking know what's going on.
That's true.
Oh my God, got you there. So April 13th, let's backtrack for a second.
Okay.
April 13th, he sent the board of Twitter a letter saying he's buying the company for $54.20 a share in cash. Now, I want to be clear about something. At the time that he did this, he made a really big deal about bots. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
He made a huge deal about spam bots.
Yeah, and I mean, his whole thing was that he's going to fix Twitter, and that was one of his big problems with it. And Elon Musk is sort of famous for having under his every time he puts out a tweet, underneath his tweet is a guy pretending to be Elon Musk, being trying to get people to fall for some crypto scam.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, he's just he talks about that all the time, before the deal. He's like, we got to fix Twitter, like you said.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, the bots will finally be defeated. He's going to war with the bots. Remember, we talked about years ago, he had that huge thing with the war on the short guys.
Yes.
And so he's always had this, kind of vision of, I think, what these accounts are and attacking him and, whatever. So he's literally tweeting before the deal is signed that he was going to defeat the spam bots. Okay, I'm being really annoying about this, but I'm this is my little annoying moment. So deal with
absolutely. Yeah, little annoying moment. Yeah, I'm paying close attention to those two words.
Be nice. Be nice.
I am.
So okay, whatever. Him and Twitter agree to a deal. So super stupid. They announced a deal back on April 25th, right?
Mm-hmm.
After he had tweeted about taking down the bots. Okay, being annoying. Then last week, he tweets that the deal won't go through because of spam bots. I swear to God. So he says, Twitter deal temporarily on hold pending details supporting calculation that spam/fake accounts do indeed represent less than 5% of users. Basically, he said that Twitter had to prove that bots were less than 5% of its users. Mm-hmm. And he said that he believes that bots make up 20% of all Twitter accounts. And then he went on to say possibly as high as 90%.
That's sick.
Which is insane and a highly regarded thing, even for Elon Musk to say.
What percent are you landing at, Liz? What do you?
I think Twitter's probably right, 6%, 5%. I just to be clear, Twitter has had that same, from my understanding and my memory, Twitter's kind of had that figure in all of its public filings. It said, we think it's around 5%. This is what we could say it's 5%, whatever. That's not some new number that Twitter has said. It's been years of public filings where they've kind of maintained this similar ratio. So another little just annoying thing that I want to say about this. Okay, well, there's a couple annoying things I want to say about this, but I gotta put a little annoying regulator cap on for a second. I'm gonna be Liz Warren, annoying lady for a second, and say that him tweeting that the deal is temporarily on hold is not a thing. That's not a thing.
You can't do that?
No, he's just tweeting. He's just tweeting. Nothing has been filed with the SEC. The deal is not on hold. This is not a thing. He signed a fucking contract. He signed a contract. That is a legal document. This man signed a contract that he's legally bound, right? He's legally bound to buy Twitter. Sorry.
That's just a social construct. I mean,
no, there's nothing in the contract that says that he can walk away from it if bots are more than 5% of accounts. That's not even a thing. He's tweeted that fucking meme with the astronaut shooting meme. That's it was always bots, always was, or whatever with the she's shut the fuck up, dude. No. So he tweets this out.
Yeah.
That this I hate this fucking asshole.
Liz is visibly mad
I'm so
now.
I can't even get the words out. This man makes me so fucking angry. So he tweets this fucking thing out. That deal is on temporarily hold, which is a lie. It's not on hold. Deal is not on hold. Then as he's tweeting that, Twitter stock starts trading down 25%.
There we go.
This is fucking Musk in action. So in any rational real world, so I know I sound like a fucking annoying, like, everyone's like listening to this. They're like, I'm a communist. The law is a construct. No, it's not, bitch. Okay. Like in any rational world, this would be deemed securities fraud, right? Like he literally just tweeted something fake that tanked the stock price of a fucking company that he is contractually obliged to buy.
Yeah.
Right. But it's Elon Musk, and he's tweeting something, and this is erasing billions of dollars of Twitter market cap as he is attempting to buy it, and this is just fine. This is totally fine. He can do this because no one gives a shit, right? It drives me fucking crazy with him.
Well, I mean, Liz, something I've really been thinking about a lot is like, he's a guy who commits a lot of securities fraud, but sometimes to me he seems like a man with insecurities that is a fraud.
Oh my God. I hate you so much for that.
You really
that was really good.
That was
really
good. I'm using that every episode from now on. Yeah, I mean, but nothing's gonna happen because of that, right?
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's literally even also in the fucking contract to buy Twitter, right? They were so smart. They put a little Elon Musk proviso in the acquisition agreement, and it goes like this: notwithstanding the foregoing, the equity investor, Elon Musk, shall be permitted to issue tweets about the merger or the transactions contemplated hereby, so long as, and I have this bolded in our notes here, tweets do not disparage the company or any of its representatives.
Well, he did. I mean, the CEO,
he did that.
The CEO of Twitter put out some like long thread, I believe, talk about their methodology for calculating bots, and then Elon Musk replied with the poo emoji.
Oh my God.
And so I think that would probably qualify on both counts there, right?
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, look, it's the same thing. It's what you just said. Like, this is the fucking, what are they going to do? Sue me conundrum that is like every single thing that Elon Musk does. And the answer is no, they won't. Like, no one's going to do anything.
Yeah.
I want to also clear something up, which is that like there was, and I saw someone even in our little Patreon comments say this. And so I'm going to like dig at them too. You know who you are. There's this like popular belief that Elon Musk can just walk out of this deal because of the break fee that was negotiated in the contract. There's like $1 billion break fee. And that like basically just his total liability for this deal is capped at $1 billion if he were to choose to walk away from the deal. Yeah. And that's not true. Like it's even the FT even like wrote an article that basically said that, but that's not true. Like it's, again, it's like fun. It's important to be like annoying about this because it's fun, but also because this is actually important to understand. Like if everything goes fine, all the financing goes through and everything is good to go, but he just decides to walk away. Like he could be out for much more than $1 billion. He actually would be like, there's a world in which he could be sued by Twitter based on this contract in Delaware court, right? That he's still obligated to buy the company, that he still has to put up the whatever it is, $27.5 billion. Yeah, they would force him. That would require Twitter to sue him to close the deal rather than allowing him to walk away. Right?
I love that.
Yeah. So you could say like, normal circumstances, there aren't like, when there's mergers or there's buyouts or whatever, they don't just say like, buyers don't go like, whoopsies, like, oops, I changed my mind, never mind, don't want to do it. I'm just going to pay the fee and let me walk on my way. Like companies are like, wait, what? You can't do that. I'm going to sue you. You said you would do this. We have a contract. You're obligated to fulfill the contract, right? They usually what they would do when they try to walk away is they say, okay, there's something wrong in the filings. There's something I didn't know when I committed to the deal. Like, the financing isn't there or there's all this information.
That's what people are trying to say he's doing with the bot stuff.
But that's clearly not what he did because he was tweeting about the bots prior to the agreement.
Yeah. The
man has known about the bots.
But I mean, that it's weird because like it's very clear that he's trying to do something funky with the deal, right? I don't know what he's trying to do with it. But he's definitely trying to do something funky with it, and he's using the bots as an excuse.
Well, that's the thing, right? So what he's trying to do is negotiate a better deal. And he's got leverage over Twitter. And this is what really fucking makes me mad. Okay? There's so much that makes me mad about Elon, but this is like even more makes me mad, right? Which is that Twitter could let him walk away with just the $1 billion break fee if he wanted to and stay a public company. But I don't think anyone at Twitter wants to do that anymore, right? Because they have probably been like, well, wait, we could just get paid out and we don't have to fucking deal with any of this bullshit anymore. Sounds great.
Yeah.
And does Twitter really want to sue Elon in court and force him to pony up the $27 billion? I don't know. So yes, the bot stuff. I mean, him trying to make this whole fucking scene is that, look, ask yourself what's changed, right? We said the fucking stock market has tanked. The crypto market has tanked. The entire tech sector has completely tanked. There's been a massive sell-off. Like 54.20 now looks like a really bad price for Twitter. And it is.
Yeah. Especially because he helped tank their stock price.
Yes. So I don't know. Funny enough, like Twitter has I think they have their annual shareholder meeting today.
It is today, yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's interesting. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Basically, like the big problem is now with tech tanking, and there was like even more of a sell-off today. I think Elon basically is stuck with a bad deal. He's lost a shit ton of money. Even personally, he's lost a shit ton of money. Tesla's losing money. But he can't pull out without triggering the fee or possibly facing, going to Delaware court. But the price is just too high now. So it puts Twitter in this hard place, negotiating wise, right? So they are under pressure to close the deal soon. They just want to get it done. Everyone's staring down a bear market, and maybe you do want to negotiate a lower price, right?
Yeah.
So maybe Elon does get what he wants.
I mean, can he negotiate a lower price, you think?
Probably. Twitter's in a shit position because they made a fucking deal with the devil. Like, they can force Musk to buy the company in court, but that's going to be long and annoying and a pain in the fucking ass for everyone, including you and me, having to watch this fucking clown show. Yeah. Like, a Delaware court would 1000% be sympathetic to Twitter in this whole situation because it's so ridiculous. But, insert the but at what cost me? Like, it would be a disaster for them as a company. It would be a mess. And Elon would be, running his whole circus show. And
no doubt it would fuck with their stock prices more too. And
absolutely.
So in the off chance that they do lose, it's really bad for them.
Absolutely. And so it's like, do you let him walk away? Do you negotiate a lower price? Like, it's just one or the other. And so Elon wins again. Yeah. And he has broken the law just in these fucking weeks that he's signed this contract, several times. And he knows the law doesn't apply to him, and he flaunts it, and he doesn't give a fucking shit. There's a contract in place. He's violated it over and over and over and over again. It doesn't fucking matter. He'll pay these small fines so that he doesn't have to pay bigger dues that are due to the SEC. It's the same thing over again. And the US government just won't do anything about it. They won't do anything about it. It's fucking shocking that no one has the balls to stand up to this fucking middling clown.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think I saw a tweet that he made a couple of years ago that said the E in SEC stand for Elon's, meaning it stands for suck Elon's cock. And I gotta
hate this fucking guy.
I think he was right.
He is. Fucking pathetic losers. Everyone's a fucking loser.
So, Liz, you know me. You know I love the sun.
The sun?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I call it other Gaia.
Yeah.
Soul.
Yeah, soul maxing. That's you.
Mm-hmm. That's me. And so you know me. I'm I got to pop the top, got to pop the pants, got to strap on the hiking boots and just lay on the beach. And, it being May and all, one of the top vacation months, I was I'm going to the freaking Philippines.
I feel like we should. It's funny because, we were kind of dancing around where you were because it was funny on the podcast. And I saw a bunch of people were like, oh, Brace is in Ukraine. And I was like, why would you think that?
First of all, I've been to Ukraine. I don't want to go back there.
Yeah, you already been there. Also, Newsflash, not a great time to go.
Yeah, I get what's happening there. I don't want to. I'm not trying to do that. That seems scary to me. No, what I wanted to do.
They don't have direct flights from Langley, by the way. So.
Exactly. Actually, they do, but they were full. I was like, you know what? Cebu City, baby. I'm gonna get out there, toss on a grass skirt, do a little hula dancing or hooping, whichever one takes my fancy. And pop on a pair of snorkels and just and some fins and get down under the water there.
In my head, it's like indoor snorkeling in the jungle.
Mm-hmm. And so what we're going to talk about for the next 2 hours is my relaxing vacation on the beach in the Philippines. No, I'm just kidding. I probably had the worst vacation of my life.
Oh my God. Here we go.
I go out there and I'm like, you know what?
Airing of the grievances.
I haven't been to the beach in years. I cannot wait. Oh, tales from the South Pacific or West Pacific. I'm going to figure out what's up with these Chinese islands with my binoculars from a fishing boat. And you know what? I didn't even get out to Cebu City. I got stuck in Luzon. And when I was there, let me tell you, baby, it's more like loser because I didn't get to any of the beaches. I didn't see one fucking beach in the entire time that I was in the fucking Philippines.
What's Luzon?
All right. So Luzon is one of the 3. So the Philippines is made up of like a shit ton of islands.
Okay.
And Luzon is the biggest motherfucker there. It is, I think, one of the biggest islands in the world, and it is exactly the island. It's the one with Manila on it, and Quezon City. It's like the main. It's not the main one, but it's one of the 2 big ones that you hear about.
Probably the famous one.
It's the famous one. You hear about Luzon and Mindanao and all these kinds of things. Usually, though, you're on damn TripAdvisor. You're looking like, where's the coolest fish to see? You know how many fish I saw when I was there, Liz? 0 fishies the entire time. No, so I get out there and it turns out the election's happening. And
what a weird coincidence.
I know. And so I get to this hotel and I meet all these people. You know, I'm out there at a swingers resort in Quezon City.
Yeah.
And
Sandals Quezon.
Yes. Yeah. No. Hedonism 2 Quezon City.
Oh my God.
And I meet all these people from what's called the International Observation Mission. Who are out there to observe the elections and see some of the things that happen around the country during election time. Because if you listen to our last episode, that was our last episode, right? Yeah, our last episode where we did talk about the election. There are some nasty things that can happen in the country.
Yes,
during that time period. So I get there, I think I leave on the 1st and I get there on the 3rd. And I end up staying in Quezon City. And, it's hot there. It's sticky. I get monkeypox immediately.
Sure.
And I'll tell you this.
You're just straight oozing.
I'm oozing the entire time. And I tell you this, I was like, these people are so friendly. I've talked about on this show that I like Filipinos before because they're very goofy. And I got to see the ironic sense of humor that some Filipinos have when they unfortunately put up posters of a person that I was there with saying "communist terrorist, get out of the country" with their picture on it.
How funny.
Which we talked about on this show before, I believe in our episode with Brandon Lee about red tagging, which is the process that the government uses to basically smear activists.
Oh, I see. So their downtown scene is going right wing too.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. They're all into the apes and the NFTs and all that kind of thing. So a little bit of history there is that the Philippines run by a small group of families. Basically since '86, since the Marcos dictatorship ended with the EDSA revolution, there has been a series of pretty corrupt presidents. Who, from various parties, but really all just kind of the same sort of story of like graft, corruption, violence, etc. Since the late '60s, there has also been an insurgency there, or really a civil war between the Communist Party of the Philippines and the National Democratic Front, to which they belong, who have been waging war in the countryside. I believe it's one of the longest ongoing insurgencies in the world. It's had highs and lows, but there are generally thought to be many thousands of guerrillas in the jungle. And really what that means for a lot of people in urban areas who are, let's say, sympathetic to progressive causes is like we were saying, the government will make little Facebook posts about you and call you a communist terrorist and smear you and then escalate that and then escalate that and escalate that until I heard stories about other people who were just there on vacation, actually having protests outside of their hotel room, by essentially paid protesters, calling them communist goons and stuff like that. And actually, during the first few days I was there, I actually ran into former guest and friend of the show, Bonnie Elong-Elong.
What a small island.
I know.
Or should I say a collection of islands?
Saw him give a little talk. A fantastic guy, great hat.
Interesting.
And I gotta say, Liz,
think of him as a hat guy.
Well, I think if you're an older gentleman, particularly a playwright, you are allowed a certain selection of hats that it becomes better for you to be wearing one.
There's a certain kind of fedora that really works on an older, like, intellectual man.
This was like one of those kind of cabbie hat ones.
Oh, okay, that works too.
Yeah, it's
sure,
great.
classic.
Got grayish hair. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I ended up just at a park, in Quezon City. There was this big wall of martial law victims, including Bonnie's sister. And in front of that, there was a memorial for this woman named Mary Hilao Enriquez, who had been a prisoner under martial law and who ran an organization called Carapatan, who had just passed away of natural causes in America. And I ended up at a interfaith sort of anti-fraud election thing in the election thing at the Manila Cathedral, which was right next to a building belonging to something called COMELEC, which is the Commission on Elections. And let me tell you, Filipinos, they love their little portmanteaus, however you pronounce it, because everything there is just like they call press conferences press cons, which I actually kind of liked.
Press cons?
Yes.
That's all right.
Press cons. So, one thing that I think the NCR, which is the National Capital Region, which encases both Quezon City and a bunch of like sort of outlying urban areas, and Manila and a bunch of its outlying urban areas. It's a massive area. One thing that it has in abundance, baby, is shopping malls. Like more malls than you could ever imagine in your entire life.
Now, are you pro mall or anti mall?
Before SF doesn't really have many malls.
Yeah, they all got shut down.
Yeah.
Wait, is Stonestown still around?
Yeah, but who the fuck goes to?
I used
so
to
far
Stonestown
away?
when I was a kid. That was my mall when I was a kid. Stonestown, because
it's just like
the city I grew up in.
Stonestown. You might as well. I mean, it's like you're past Daly City. It feels.
I was just in a mall too. I spent some time in a mall, more time than I liked. During our vacation time.
I gotta say, I didn't spend very much time in the malls because I go to one of the biggest ones they have, and in fact, I think it's sort of touted as one of the biggest malls in Asia. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, because I didn't even get to go in. I go to the Mall of Asia looking to buy some new kegs.
That's what's called, Mall of Asia?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I assume it's like some like Mall of America. All the malls out there, by the way, are owned by a company called SM, which stands for Shoe Mart, which I might like. Well, anyways, I go down there. It's the 7th, a couple days before the election, and there's a giant Bong Bong Marcos rally. Now, to be clear, it is illegal for foreigners to attend political rallies.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, there's actually quite a few laws.
Somehow I believe that's very selectively enforced.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's actually quite a few laws, Liz, about foreigners' participation in politics in the Philippines.
Yeah. Did you find that when you were there?
No. I knew that prior to going. Okay. But you know what? Look at this shirt. I'm a tourist. I was wearing shorts that made me look so silly.
I like that shirt, by the way. I know that you bought some Classico style Turismo wear.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I did.
You were tourist maxing. And but I think it's like a good vibe on you, actually. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I go to this Bong Bong Marcos rally, and this is, remind you, a couple days before the election. This is actually the final night of rallies that any candidate is really having, because the next day, I believe, was Sunday, and then everyone takes that day off, and then there's the election day itself. And so I go to this rally, and let me tell you, and people always talk about, oh, this person bussed their supporters into the rally and things like that. People always talk about bussing in terms of rallies, like it's some sort of like secret thing that you do to sort of pump up your numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, the traffic getting to this fucking thing, probably 2.5 hours stuck in traffic made up solely of buses. It was the most, I've literally, and I am not exaggerating here, not being hyperbolic, I've never seen so many buses in my life. And so, I finally get to the rally and I'm walking around and, I query a couple of people because there's a lot of people like kind of walking around aimlessly. I'm like, well, what's up? Where'd you get bussed in from? And they're like, well, we got $300, 300 Filipino pesos, which is the equivalent to about, I don't know, like $4 or like $3 or $4, to come from, outlying suburbs and places like that.
Yeah.
And you got to go to the rally, you get a little thing punched and you exchange that when you get home for some money for like $300 to $500. And then you also get a little bit of food money that you can spend at like the Mall of Asia. Unfortunately, a lot of these people really just wanted to ride to the mall. And so about half of the people I saw getting off the buses were not going to the rally, but were in fact going to Mall of Asia, which was in the opposite direction. It's a pretty good idea. The rally itself was insane because it was like, I've never been to a big music festival, but it was in a giant dirt field essentially. And the stage was so far away. There were so many people. It took me like 40 minutes just to get up as close as I could. And there was just a comedian playing "Here Comes the Sun."
Oh my God.
Because, here comes the son of the former
awful.
dictator. Over and over and over and making just bad jokes while two helicopters circled low overhead throwing glitter out the back of them.
Oh my God. I can't believe you didn't use your old like punk tactics to get to the front.
I tried to get in the Bon Bon Marcos mosh pit.
Yeah. You didn't get in the pit. You didn't start circling.
I tried to, but it was too scary. It looked like a damn hate breed concert.
Oh
no,
my
it was
God.
just they
should bring that, but they should not. Take that out. That's not. No one should do that.
No, they should do that. They should do that.
That's really, dark MAGA.
The real surreal thing about this was that on the way walking to this rally, which it took about 40 minutes from parking to actually I got a ride there, so I got dropped off from just walking to where I got dropped off to the actual like entrance to it. There were sound trucks sort of blasting a song called "New Society," which was sort of the theme song to martial law. And it was so just surreal seeing this. Yeah. It was very, very strange sort of seeing this like, the way things used to be and sort of this nostalgia being weaponized. And I asked a lot of people, I was like, well, what do you like about Bong Bong Marcos? And I got to tell you, I asked dozens of people that during my entire time there. Everyone's kind of just like, I don't know, he seems all right. Like nobody could point to a single thing. We talked about it. He really had no campaign platform. Not a single person would tell me something that they liked, except one guy told me that he had promised to bring rice down to 20 pounds a kilo. And which I've been assured is just a fake thing to say, like that there's literally no way that can happen. And so really my main thing that I was looking at there as a tourist, of course, was the classic Filipino three traditions of elections, which is guns, goons, and gold. Now I've seen that with 4 Gs: guns, goons, gold, and girls. I got to tell you, 0 girls. This was a sexless election for the Philippines. It looked like, there's a lot of stuff that, I can't necessarily mention or, wouldn't necessarily make good podcasting material. But on election day itself, I actually took an interfaith road trip with a pastor. And his.
Oh, are you converting to Catholicism?
No. Pastor's Protestant. But yes, I am. Although I did spend a lot of time with Catholics there. But yeah, I'm doing it maybe to kind of add to my brand. I took a road trip with a pastor who I guess also a bishop. I don't know how it works there. I guess they elect bishops in the Protestant church. I don't know. I'm familiar with it. Up to a small town in the north of Luzon. Well, a town of about 50,000 people, where I actually got to sit in and watch people vote, which wasn't very exciting in and of itself. I didn't see anything crazy go on, but I got to talking to people, and I also sat next to a very good-looking election observer. That's neither here nor there. I was talking to people. I'm like, well, what do what makes you want to vote for anybody here? Every single person was like, you get $5,000 from the candidate. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, if I vote for this candidate, it was a mayoral race, and that's who they're referring to. If I vote for either the mayor or his opponent, their team's going to give me 5,000 pesos. And I was like, well, maybe
Did
it's
they
just
really?
this guy. Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, maybe it's just one or two people. Every single person I talked to was like, yeah, they gave me 5,000 pesos, which is the equivalent of about $50 US, which I got to say, you get me to vote for somebody for $50.
Yes, that's the classic tactic. Vote buying.
Yeah. And so that was something, I'd read quite a lot about that before going out there. And as a tourist, it was really illuminating to see how, some of the local political culture in which vote buying was really widespread and rampant. And actually, Liz, during this period, because I'm in a small town, I don't really know that many people except for my my man of the cloth I'm there with. I told people that I was a grad student in sociology from Occidental College in Los Angeles, California.
You were just following in the footsteps of your predecessor, Obama. He was there for undergrad.
Exactly. Yeah. I used to walk through there sometimes. And so I was like, oh yeah, it's a college. It's like very small. And so no one will know someone who goes there. And I got to tell you, if you ever want to ask, just deny any follow-up questions from anybody, tell them that you're a grad student in sociology from Occidental College. Nobody has any more questions after that.
Everyone's so sick of talking to sociology majors. They can't take it anymore.
Well, I ended up actually hanging out with the mayor that night. And though there were some problems in the town.
Did he have the big sash on that said mayor? Because that's damn.
I know.
He's missing out. There's probably like 50 votes you don't have to buy if you just put on his mayor sash.
That's what a lot of people don't understand is sash culture, which has disappeared from apparently the Eastern world as well. I mean, that would totally change the political landscape.
Yeah, absolutely.
If every baby had to wear a sash that just said that they're a baby.
Yeah, that's a good look.
That's a really good look. Yeah. Well, so no, I actually go and hang out with the mayor, and the mayor was a little sketched out. There was a bunch of people, members of the military outside with their guns, because the mayor's security team had actually been ambushed by his opponent's security team the night before and got in a long gun shootout from their SUVs at each other.
Okay.
And this was pretty incredible to talk about, because people were very nonchalant about it. Election violence, especially at the mayoral level, is pretty common. But everybody who I talked to in the town, kind of no matter what side they supported, was like it was the opponent, like a last ditch sort of like they wanted to get some of their guys shot, actually, in order to gin up
another Classico
votes.
Style.
Exactly. So it was sort of a false flag.
Election. Yeah.
And it was pretty incredible to talk to them about it. And I asked the mayor, I was like, brother, as a sociology major to mayor, kind of equals here.
Yeah.
You buy any votes? And he's like, yeah, dude, I spent so much money on votes.
Too much. The whole budget went to vote buying.
He actually, and
then you were like, brother, I got a sash I got to show you.
He was actually complaining about having to spend too much money on votes. Yeah. And I was like, I pitched it to them. I'm like, listen, if you really want to guarantee that you get in, if you, because both he and his opponent were paying 5,000, it's kind of the going rate in the town. I was like, why don't you pay 5,500?
Oh yeah.
And just kind of cut him out there.
Yeah. Start a little price war. Well, but that could also then, could start a little spiral.
Exactly. Yeah. I know.
And then who wins? The people.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I said too. I actually asked several people throughout my time there. I'm like, well, what's to stop someone from getting money from everybody? And my only response that I got from people was Filipinos are honorable.
Well, okay, but
to which I suggest, not being.
Yeah. Here's my
circumstance.
Brace, can you run for mayor?
So, of course, I immediately started out. I calculated how much that would cost to run for mayor in a medium-sized town. Mm-hmm. Potentially with a loan, I could. I think it's illegal for foreigners to do it, though.
Okay.
Could I get a puppet mayor?
Yes.
That's the next question we have there. And that is, of course, that is a conversation that will just be between me and the mayor
and the puppet.
Small town. Yeah. He eventually did win his election. And in fact, I had a really surreal conversation with a fast-talking Filipino-American woman in the town who was working for the opponent's campaign. And I asked her about the gunfight. I asked her about the vote buy. And she, of course, said about the gunfight, the truth will come out, which means that she has to think of an excuse for why their
Who
plan doesn't
says
work.
that? The truth will come out?
Here's my thing. Anyone ever tells you the truth will come out, they literally can't
They're
think of a lie.
lying.
They can't think of a lie yet. They
Yeah.
are lying,
It's a
but they
pre-lie
can't think of
lie.
what the lie. Yeah, exactly. They're paving the way for a better lie
Yeah.
that they haven't come up with yet.
The truth will come out. It's also just a goofy thing to say. It's like,
yes.
what are you, like a wizard? Who says that?
Yeah.
The truth will come out.
You know, it's something I really noticed that during this election and you know, in the days afterwards of talking to people is that like the you know, political parties, anything to do with ideology, all that stuff was really for almost nobody I talked to. And I talked to dozens and dozens and dozens of people during my time there. Nobody gave a shit.
Yeah.
It was all based on like either personality or sort of like a tree of you know, kind of corruption and graft and who's getting money from who. And then at the end, at the bottom of that period is the pyramid is the voters who might get directly paid themselves.
Right.
You know, something I you know, we talked about in the last episode about the Philippines is how many people are related. Well, I'm here in this small town and I'm talking to my buddy, the pastor. I'm like, well, who are these two candidates? He's like, well, the mayor is my cousin and the opponent is my other cousin. And every single person, bar none. And I'm not shitting you. Literally every single person I spoke to in this town, after I'd be done talking to them, I'd be like, that's my cousin.
Is this like one of those liberal definitions of cousin, or is it like
they're going to third? We're talking third cousins here. I don't know how that works.
I feel like when you drop "that's my cousin" and you're referring to a third cousin, brother, that's not your cousin.
My cousin thing is, can you have sex with them legally?
I don't like that as any kind of
because if
any
you
kind
can,
of marker for anything, that should not be your sort of, you know, test case. Don't use that.
Well, you know, and talking to the mayor too, I was like, well, who are you for in the presidential election? He tells me, well, officially I'm a BBM mayor. I'm a Bong Bong Marcos mayor.
Thank you for explaining
him.
that because
but he's like, but actually I'm voting personally for Lenny Robredo, but if I you know, Bong Bong's going to win, and if I don't endorse him, we might not get funding.
So but why are they voting for Lenny then?
Because he personally, I mean, Lenny wasn't going to win, but I mean, honestly, the reason he told me is because Lenny's vice presidential candidate was from the same town. Okay. His mother was from that town.
So this is the honorable thing they're talking about.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of it for the gold stuff, you know, like that there was so much of this everywhere I talked to. In terms of vote buying and the amount of money that was just spent by some of these candidates, I heard astronomical amounts going out for like a congressional campaign or for a senatorial campaign. And so many of these actually revolved around vote buying. There was a place in Manila where there was just a guy in a bathroom and you went up to him with your phone and you scanned a QR code and you got paid in their version of Venmo. So he's just buying votes from a bathroom.
As someone who also just came back from the periphery, I got to say QR codes fucking everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, they're everywhere. They've penetrated. Yeah, they've penetrated the entire world.
It's horrific.
One of the worst side effects of
these
COVID.
horrible consultants going around to like a shit ton of third world countries selling everyone on QR codes. Like, I fucking hate you so much.
Yeah, exactly. So the you know, to get to the beginning of our 3Gs, the guns. You know, we already talked about this election day violence or election night eve violence in the town that I was in. But, you know, usually elections in the Philippines are just sort of notoriously violent. Around 50 people were killed in violence directly related to elections in 2016. A little over half of that in 2019. I think half because it was the midterms. So there was just less people running for stuff.
Sure.
Dozens and dozens injured. You know, I had some friends that were in other parts of the country, and they told me that you know, they saw people being beaten with sticks, that there were people killed in sites that they were, you know, taking vacation in. You know, it was just, it's a really, you know, it's crazy because guns are actually very expensive in the Philippines, and so a lot of these sort of like local oligarchs or local politicians will have what's called PAGs, private armed groups, which are their security team, and they just essentially send them out to shoot people that they disagree with. You know, one woman that I spoke to, you know, I spent a little time on the periphery of the periphery in a relocatee area which is where they had taken a bunch of people who lived in the slums in Manila, and the government put them on trucks and then made them live outside of Manila.
Okay.
And in sort of like concrete, little small concrete houses. Not houses. I mean, I don't know. They're one room places.
Yeah.
But I was speaking to this woman who belonged to the National Federation of Peasant Women. She's 62 years old. I'm having lunch with her. And she said that she was out documenting some peasant huts getting burned down on public land, or it's like public land, but that peasants have been allowed to farm on for like decades. And they're very poor rice farmers. They live in shacks, and she's sort of taking pictures of these people that are coming to harass them, goons, and she says that about 30 people belonging to a guy named Greggy Araneta, who is part of a very, very, very wealthy family in the Philippines, came down there with ski masks and guns in order to burn down these peasant huts. And they immediately open fire on her and, of course, the people that live there. They make them all lie down, face down in the dirt. I mean, this is a 62-year-old woman we're talking about here, and several other old people too. They fire off guns next to their heads to deafen them. They beat some of them, and then they take all of their food, all extra clothing, their cell phones, her camera, her notepads, of course, and basically everything they else have on them except their immediate clothing. And then they burn down these peasants' huts. Now, these goons belong to Greggy Araneta. And in fact, Greggy Araneta is now the brother-in-law to the president of Bongbong Marcos.
Oof.
And so it was really illustrative to see how this kind of chain of goons go. This guy is one of the wealthy. I mean, he owns every Taco Bell in the Philippines. There's a stadium named after his family. And yet here he has 30 guys in ski masks beating up old women and firing off 45. She told me it was a 45 next to her fucking head. I mean, yeah, it was just astounding. Talking to some people about the violence they've been subjected to. It was really in this slum that I stayed in for a while. I was hanging out with this guy. I was talking to him. In the 80s, he had been a striker at the I believe it was called the Artex Textile Corporation, and I looked this up. I corroborated this. And they were on strike, and I think 84, and police just opened fire on him and his coworkers with a machine gun, kill 5 of his coworkers, shoot 94 more, but don't kill them, and he gets out of there. And now he's he's retired now, and he's fucking staying in this, he's a relocatee staying in this slum. And then when Duterte, opens up the drug war and all these extrajudicial killings, he says that one night police came in and just shot 30 people. A guy told me that his neighbor was shot going to get a bottle of water at the Sorry store. None of these people were drug dealers or anything like this. They were just people that the government didn't like because they were in peasant organizations.
Classic tactic.
Exactly. There was also a ton of red tagging by these goons. I already mentioned it, before talking about, a friend of mine, but, even Lenny Robredo, who is a liberal through and through. This is like calling Hillary Clinton a communist.
Girl boss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The future, she literally, there were shirts. I was just in a neighborhood and there was a Lenny Robredo rally. There was people in the future is female shirts everywhere. And I was like, fuck, this is I feel like I'm in a time machine.
I saw that vibe.
Yeah.
Very much so. The liberal progressivism in the periphery is very much going into a time machine to 2010, 2012.
Yeah, it's really
pretty
wild.
Weird.
And they couldn't use the glass ceiling thing because there has been women presidents of the Philippines before.
Yeah.
So they're kind of just oh, I guess we're all gonna have another one now.
The future is really female this time.
Exactly. But even her supporters, who are not exactly communist, were red tagged. There are left wing parties in Congress there. Particularly there is a coalition of them that several different parties. I mean, there's I think 600 something actual party list there, but I think 137 ran in this last election. There was all these flyers that got spread around saying all the progressive parties were not only affiliated to the Communist Party, but were actually disqualified from the election. So even though you're going to see them on your ballot, you actually, even if you're going to vote for them, you shouldn't vote for them because your vote will not be counted then. And they were actually passing out these flyers all over, like not every single one, but quite a few polling precincts throughout Luzon. I don't know about other islands. The police were sending text messages to people saying the same thing. These are government agencies that are doing this to actual political parties that have politicians in office. People showed me text messages that they got from the PNP. And, we talked about in the Brandon episode about NTF-LCAC, which is the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, which is quite a mouthful. They are literally an official government agency from the government, funded by the government. And they red tagged all these political parties. They red tagged individuals who are part of these political parties. And then Duterte himself, whose daughter, of course, was running for vice president, spread these lies in official speeches and things like this. The left-wing parties got, of course, significantly less votes than the last election. They previously got the maximum amount of representatives allowed to them under the political system there. This time they got, I believe, half of that. And on the official government agency NTF-LCAC Facebook page, it says, the NTF-LCAC would like to thank and congratulate the Filipino people for voting out the CPP, NPA, NDF party list. And that stands for Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, National Democratic Front party lists. Bayan Muna and Anak Powys out of Congress. Now, Anak Powys is just the political party of the trade union KMU. The expulsion, particularly of Bayan Muna, is of notable worth because for 21 years they formidably sat in Congress, garnering the allowable maximum seats while using the immense powers of Congress to destroy our people and our country and wasting the precious time of our real representatives in Congress with their filibustering and their constant obstruction.
The filibuster.
I know, yes. Which, by the way, if you've seen Congress out there, is important legislative work meant to move our country forward and ease the burdens of the most marginalized among us. We applaud the Filipino people for closing ranks behind our president, chair of the NTF-LCAC, and heeding his call to defend and protect our country from these ruthless urban operatives of Joma Sison, who is the leader of the Communist Party of the Philippines, CPP, NPA, NDF, by fully using the power of your vote. We are saddened, however, that while all CPP, NPA, NDF party list groups registered a drastic reduction in the number of votes, Kabataan party list, which is another progressive party, managed an increase to 500,000 votes. We attribute these votes to the treachery of Leni Robredo, who colluded with the CPP, NPA, NDF, and have co-opted Robredo followers in the youth sector and are now being radicalized and targeted for recruitment into this communist terrorist organization. It goes on to talk about Robredo allying with the Communist Party, which is not true, very much not true. And it was just sort of incredible seeing this from this is an official government agency that is basically involved in shutting down, which these are, by the way, legal political parties that may have progressive views on the Chinese Revolution and possibly about the future of Philippine society, but are legal under the law. And that really just it was kind of incredible to see. There were stickers I would see that were like anti-communist stickers. They were red tagging posters that I saw, just red tagging the political parties. Any Anak Powys like flyers I saw, people would spray paint, the government would spray paint NPA or NDF or CPP over. It was really just repression on a scale that I had not seen before. There were some not fun instances too. There's a lot of shit that went down there. I don't even know how much to talk about here because there'll be a report that's coming out pretty soon. And although one has already come out, I had to leave a hotel because there was someone from the military looking at us and all these kind of things. I had to wear disguise a couple of times, which was just
that's so weird hat. As tourists have to do that.
I know. That. Well, here's the thing. I look too much like a tourist. I was wearing, me. I got my Crocs are cool now. What's an uncool shoe? Uggs?
No, those are cool now.
I'm wearing Uggs in 150-degree heat.
Sweating feet, into the fur.
Oh, they are.
Talk about oozing.
There's an audible squish every time that I walk.
And there's you have the mini Uggs that like the micro Uggs that go below. Uggs. No, they're below your ankle.
Really?
Yeah, they got micros now.
Oh, those are just slippers.
Well, they're Uggs.
But one thing I saw out there is the repression is real. I was at one point I was in this slum called Tondo, And I got to tell you, baby, this is the worst slum I ever seen in my fucking life.
Oof.
Like, it's built right outside of the port, like literally right outside, not even across the street, right next to the port. And it is like a hive, like a warren of sort of like winding little footpaths. The whole thing is wet as he can be. And I talked to these dock workers who had been fired. They were members of the KMU, the 1st of May union, it's called. But I talked to these guys, and they'd been dock workers, some of them for decades. And about 2 years ago, they found out that the company that the dock that they work for contracted through for employment, because we talked about contractualization in the last episode being a huge thing there now,
right?
Had been stealing all of their Social Security money, all of their healthcare money, in fact, every single takeout of their paycheck, and not giving it to the so they had basically collected actually no Social Security.
Yeah.
And the company had stolen all of it, and they sue with the help of some progressive lawyer associations. They sue the company and the company that was contracting, and win. The company appeals. They win that again. In fact, I believe they take it almost to they do take it to the Supreme Court and win there. And then the Department of Labor says, well, there's actually no way we can enforce this. So unfortunately, all 370 of you who got fired for complaining about this are still fired, and they don't have to pay anything back.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, it was just, and I asked them how much they make. They made, prior to getting fired, they made 500 pesos a day, which is about $10.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really just the immiseration was intense in almost every place I went to. I stayed with some peasants. And it's like shacks and just I don't know. It's rough, And I talked to some people out there. I'm like, listen, the political system here is deranged. It makes no fucking sense. The way society is structured here is insane. And I would talk to people and they'd be like, yeah, this is I know, I live here. This is crazy to me too. I don't think this is normal, and I've lived in this my whole life. And so, it's kind of, to me, it's no wonder that people, there's a sizable amount of the population that want to, maybe have a new form of government there, and are willing to go to great lengths to get that, because the amount of just nepotism and family ties, and just these small group of very wealthy people who directly control the country in ways that makes all of the corruption, it's America hides it way better. Basically, it's very similar in many respects, but it's really just naked in large parts of the Philippines, and people are well aware of it. And really, they're it's I guess it's no wonder. I heard from a lot of people out there is that the government wants to stomp out NPAs. They want to destroy the New People's Army, and they haven't been able to for decades and decades and decades, no matter what they do, because they don't realize that it's the government themselves that creates NPAs. As corrupt as the government gets, as much graft as there is, as people's lives get worse and worse and worse, of course, you create the conditions for your own removal, essentially. Anyways, there is a report from if you're in the International Observation Mission, coming out soon, which I met some of those people. They were very friendly, and if that's out by the time this episode's out, I'll link in the description. If not, I'll link in the next one. But yeah, I gotta say, didn't see a beach, didn't see a grain of fucking sand.
You sent me a photo of you wearing white linen pants, though.
I did buy
with
white
some
linen pants.
sea. There was a seascape that I saw.
I went to the sea.
And took a picture.
There was no beach.
Was it a rock situation, or
it was a rock situation?
Oh,
yeah,
classic
rock situation.
I don't like the rock situation.
Yeah, what's up? Just put sand there. There's plenty in the ocean floor.
I gotta say, I got really distracted when you were talking, because I started thinking about the baby wearing the sash. And then I was like, oh, that would be so fucked up if the baby and the mayor switched sashes
for a day.
And just imagining a mayor with a huge sash that said baby, dude, I could not stop laughing. But then, get this, tiny mayor.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah,
But that means the baby
bear.
would be a mare, and who knows what kind of chaos
Yeah,
he
that
would
baby get
cause.
into
That would be,
trouble.
dude. Could you check this out? Picture this for a second. Hasbullah in a sash.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Oh, that'd be good. Just that says maybe
Damn.
this little guy.
Would it say baby or mare? It should say his name.
It should just say Hasbullah. Yeah, that's like a
Yeah.
title.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. It's he's just the latest Hasbullah. Stretching back to Frodo's
Actually, when you
time.
open him up, there's the next one comes out.
Whoa, that'd
Like
be
a little
good.
Russian doll situation.
Yeah. There's actually infinite ones inside of him. But I gotta say, I'm more tired and exhausted than before I left.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of vacation you take, though.
Yeah. I gotta. Yeah. What is Cabo?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that seems weird.
On that note, we're back, everyone. We'll see you very soon. I'm Liz.
I have dengue fever. My name is Brace. And of course, we have our lesion covered, can't think of an alliteration there, but producer named Young Chomsky, or as they call him now at the hospital ward, Mr. Boyles.
And that would be a bad sash.
Mr. Having a sash that said Mr. Boyles? You are getting zero pussy at the mayoral reception for that.
Mr. Boyles sounds like the principal on like an 80s teen sitcom.
Yeah. He's like, he calls Topanga and he's like, hey, can you lance this? Can you lance? I have a sewing needle.
So excited. I'm so scared. Does everyone remember that one?
No, I actually
the Ritalin episode of Saved by the Bell. Come on,
they have Ritalin on that show.
Yeah, man.
Huh. Interesting.
They've been putting kids on speed for decades.
Wow. Yeah. Well, speaking of, I gotta go crush some up and sell it to some people in elementary school to help them make more TikToks.
Well, on that note, this has been TrueAnon, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.